Good morning, all you beautiful people. How you guys doing today? It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Beautiful day to be in the house in the AC. You thought I was gonna say garden. No, I wasn't gonna say garden. But anyway, today we're gonna be doing some Florida weaving with our tomatoes. If you're not familiar with the Florida weave, you basically, simply put, you just basically get string and you weave it in and out of the tomatoes. That's basically what you're doing. So we're going to be showing on screen. I'll be doing a little voiceover because it's hard to try to do it holding a camera. It's doggone near impossible. So this is one of those videos that it requires voiceover. So let's go ahead, get in the garden and get this thing done so I can get back in the AC. All right, here we already started doing the weave. Me and my wife came out here probably a couple weeks ago, last week, week and a half, something like that. And we came out here and already started doing the Florida weave on these on these tomatoes. So we're ready to do another layer of these of this weave. The first thing I'm going to do is wrap this string around this pole a couple times and then tie it in place. You want to make sure you have the right height. I think I'm a little too high on this, so I will be moving that string down some because I don't want to get the tips of the plant. I want to make sure that it's the weave is weaving in the bulk of the plant to make sure that the plant stays straight or straighter rather than slacking and lagging and bending over. So once I get this tied, then we will weave in between the tomato plants. We're beginning the process of this weave. We go in front of the first plant, and now we're going behind the second tomato plant. We want to make sure all the limbs that are at the weave height is inside the weave. There's the third plant we just went in front of, and now we want to go around this pole a couple times, and what that does is just make sure the string is tight. You want the string tight. You don't want no slack in that string. And now that we have enough tightness in the string, we go back through, but this time the third plant, we go behind that third plant. And as you can see right there, the two strings kind of keeps the tomato plant standing straight. Now we go in front of the second plant, then we'll go in front of the third, the first plant, and we'll have our have our weave completed. There are some issues that we're having right there because one of the plants isn't tall enough really to really for the weave to grab. I think I went a little bit too high for that one plant, but that's okay. We can always go back and reweave. Now I'm going behind that tomato plant in front of this other tomato plant, making sure I try to get the those limbs that are hanging down, but they're too far down. So we'll just have to deal with that at a later date. Go behind this one tomato plant right here, and that's pretty much what you're doing. You're just weaving in and out, or in front and behind each tomato plant. And then we finish it off with tying it off, making sure that the strings are tight. And there we have it. We have now put another layer of Florida weave on these tomato plants. This is the tomato plant right here that is kind of probably the shortest one. Could do a weave further down right here at this height to make sure that this plant here stays straight, nice and straight, and doesn't bow over. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with the Florida weave. It's just a quick video of just doing the Florida weave and kind of explaining to you guys what the Florida weave is. Very easy, very simple, I guess you could say. Now, we started doing our Florida weave on the tomatoes a little late. Pretty much all the tomato plants were about a foot high when we started, maybe a foot and a half to 2. Prior to doing the Florida weave, my wife had already started cutting back the branches from the bottom of the tomato bush or tomato plants. So we had room to kind of start, even though they were a foot, foot and a half to 2 feet, we had room to run the weave at the bottom, at the base of the plant, and then work our way up. So we had already weaved these tomato plants twice, I believe. Well, actually, we cut it in half because she didn't plant them all at the same time. So the ones on the left are going to have more growth than the ones on the right. But we finished the 3rd level on the tomato plants on the left. The ones on the right, we only have 2 levels because the ones on the right are not as tall as the ones on the left. What you saw was us doing the right side of the tomato plants that are maybe 2.5 feet, somewhere in there. So, you know, we could have actually gone a little bit lower with our weave. But like I said, it's okay. If things begin to get ugly, we'll just reweave it. It's no problem. So that's kind of how you do the weave. I mean, now I will say I would say the challenge is for us anyway. I don't know about for you. The challenge for us, because again, we started weaving these tomato plants when they were already a foot, foot and a half to 2 feet. And the challenge was trying to get a bulk of string to go to weave through the tomato plants with all the branches and everything kind of bushed in there. That was a challenge. So what my wonderful wife did was she just broke off a stick, little tiny stick, and then wrapped the string around that stick, which made it kind of like like thread. You know how you sew and you got the thread. It's kind of like that, and you just thread it on through. It makes it so much easier, especially when you're dealing with tomato plants that are already bushed out. Ideally, you want to start weaving them when they're 6 inches, somewhere in that range, 6 to 8 inches, ideally. But we got a late jump on it. So, but we done now. We done now. So you know what I'm saying? Give me the AC. I'm going in. Just a slight detour from the Florida weaving. I'm going in. The compost area that is all out of control. These tomatoes are beautiful in here. I'm going in. Here we are. Look at these tomatoes. Look at these beauties. Look at them. Oh boy, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these. I can't hold the camera and do all this. So I'll show you what we get once I cut it. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we have accumulated out of the junk pile, if you will. This is where the tomato plants that we didn't plant, they just came up on their own in the compost pile that we was filling up. And these bad boys decided they're going to pop up on their own. We did nothing. We put no chemicals down. We put no fertilizer down. We put nothing down. The only thing we did was add to the compost pile. And this is the harvest as of right. There's still more to gather. I want to wait till they get fuller on the little stem, the little branch stem that they come on. But this is what we got. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for rocking with us today. It was a quick video, but I believe the information is valuable. You know, I mean, it could help somebody, as long as it helps somebody, right? Make sure you subscribe, tap the like button, hit the bell icon. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers as fast as we can. A brother is trying to get paid. But But anyway, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Peace.